Hey everyone, it's GoGoDM here, and me and the team at PerilousPursuits.com, we are been trying out the DC20 0.8 beta TTRPG. We've been playing we're on our third session right now, and if you're trying it out, definitely give it at least 3 sessions, because that third session we just did, we're really starting to get into the feel of the characters and the rules and how to play the game, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm playing a human monk, and with all the maneuvers and all the various things that you can do with the stamina points and all that. It's pretty cool. It's very cool, and you should definitely try it out. So anyways, yeah, that was 0.8 beta DC20 we've been playing. One thing we've been noticing, our DM Ray has been it's been a little trouble keeping track of action points of all the creatures, because we had a fairly large encounter with, I think it was 6 people in our party and then like 6 enemies. So I decided I was going to create a encounter builder for DC20 and put a little bit of automation in there and try to just make it really easy for a DC20 dungeon master, or I'm not sure if it's GM or DM, but I'm just used to DM. And to just kind of make it really easy and to track things like action points and creature hit points and where people are in the initiative and how to do the Zephyr initiative with beating the DC and all that. So what you see in front of you is version 1.1 of my DC20 0.8 encounter builder. So this is kind of the main screen where everything happens. I'll kind of run through each screen here as we go. So this is the main encounter sheet where all your initiatives will be shown and where you track stuff. Added in this is all done in Excel, by the way, and added in the Grippa cheat sheet. And I don't know if you know about this, but I've linked to it in here. I just kind of pasted an image of it into this sheet. And it's an amazing cheat sheet. Kind of shows you all the different things you really need to know for running a campaign really quickly. Grippa has updated to 0.8 just recently. I've added a whole bunch of stuff here on the right of it, just on weapon notes, properties, and all the different weapons you can look up here and get their damage and the properties that they do. So this is almost think of it as your DM screen that you can reference once in a while. And then there's the players and ally sheet. So this is where you enter in all your players. You just have to give really basic information because your players should really be tracking their own information. Some of this information might not be correct, and you're not really tracking it anyways, except for maybe putting in an initiative modifier if you want to do that. But it allows you to enter the players into the initiative and then run it, and you know where they are in the initiative. Some of these names were taken from past campaigns and current campaigns that we're playing right now. These are player characters that we've played before from each of our guys. And a little bit of a write-up on that. Next sheet is enemy creatures. And these are taken straight from DC20. Their basic stat block is very similar. If you've seen the DC20 latest stat block, this is very similar to that. So you got the stat block right there, everything about it. And then over here is kind of stuff that the program needs to run, such as an initiative modifier, which I've kind of used awareness. So this wolf has a awareness +5, so I put that in the initiative modifier. It's a little unclear if that's what we should be using for initiative, is awareness, but that's what I've done. You can always change it. And then the max HP is 11, right there. Your 4 action points, max action points, and then your stamina and mana points, which I'm not sure if creatures yet will be using that, but I've put that in there. These two creatures don't have either. And just a note of how to add new creatures. What I would do if I wanted to add one, I would just copy this row, insert it below, change the name, update the stats throughout to add new creatures. That's the same with players and allies. Going back to that sheet, if you want to add, you just copy and paste a new character, change the names, or you can change the ones that are in here. You can delete them, add new ones, whatever you want to do. Same with enemy creatures. And then the next sheet we have is user notes, which just some things that when you're using this, that might be like a frequently asked questions. Maybe it should be called that, but just gives you some information about running this encounter builder. If you have some questions, this might be the first place to look. And then the version history, it is August 8th today. Started this 2 days ago when I was programming it, and it's done today. I'm going to be posting it to the perilouspursuits.com website on the extras page, and there are links to it here on the next page. Terms of use and links. So I've got some terms of use if anybody wants to use this. Maybe take a quick read through of that. And also there's a download link where you will be able to find this encounter builder and a link to this video. And then just some links about perilouspursuits.com, what we're all about, a link to that. DC20, the Dungeon Coach, what he's about, and a link to his page. We're not affiliated with DC20. This is an unofficial DC20 product. And then also a link to Agrippa Gaming, who created that awesome cheat sheet, and a link to his Reddit. So just going back, let's start an encounter. So I'm going to go up here. This is all blank. This is vanilla. And I'm going to add in a bear. And you can see a bear gets added in here in the initiative order. And then I can click on this pull down, which references the enemies page that we did before. If you added more enemies, they would be listed here. I'm going to add a wolf. Maybe 2 wolves. So I'm going to add wolf and then wolf 2. So I've actually added, if you have multiple enemies, it adds a identifier after it, so you can kind of see where they're at. There will be wolf 3. Let's go back to bear and add another bear. And then you can see that'll come in as bear 2. Now, if you're using colors or dice or something like that for your identifier, you don't need to use numbers. Let's say you use a green dice for this bear. You just type in green, and use a red dice for this bear. You just type in red, and you can edit this as you need. Let's add some players and NPCs into here. So let's add good old Nyrax onto the initiative order. So he'll be added in. It shows the owner, which is me, GoGoDM. I'm a player. I have an initiative bonus of 0, hit points of 10. I have 4 action points. No stamina points, no mana points, but it just brings in what was in the other player's sheet. Let's add in Orlier. Add that in. I'll bring in a few players here. I want to have when I run the rolls for initiative, I want to be able to show you that I have a better chance of seeing what critical successes and critical fails do. So the more people we add in, there's a better chance of showing each of those options. So I'm just going to add in. I may fast forward through this section. And back online again here after the fast forward. Here is Solomale, who is an NPC. I'm going to add, and he's actually listed under the players and allies sheet. But you'll see Solomil is actually controlled by the DM. He's an NPC, and his stats are. And maybe I'll just add a few more bears in here just for whatever. Add one more bear. All right. So here we have a whole bunch of players, a mix of players and enemies, one NPC. First thing what we want to do now is before we roll anything is you can put in an initiative DC. Let's make that like 13. So according to the DC 20.8 initiative rolls, if a player beats the initiative DC on their initiative roll, then the players go first. If they beat the initiative DC by 5, then 2 players go before the enemies. And then there's critical fails and critical successes, which do different things too. On a critical fail, you go last in the initiative order, and there's some conditions and all that too. So it'll actually show all that here if there's a critical success or fail. So I got my DC inserted. Right now, so now I'm going to roll for all the empty initiatives. So if you like dice, if you don't like dice, let's say a couple of my players want to roll a dice. So Nyrax, good old Nyrax, he's going to roll a 15. Maximus, he always likes to roll dice, but he rolls like a 10. He's kind of shitty. And then Ray with Claudia, he rolls maybe a critical fail, let's say. So when I say critical fail, which is a 1, I put in -5. And then let's see here. Mike, he always pooches the dice, so he critical fails too. And then the rest will just, auto roll. So if there's a blank here, you click on this, it'll roll all the blanks for initiative based on the D120 plus the initiative bonuses that the initiative counter pulled in from the other sheets. So I click there for roll for all the empties. Oh, good, we got one success here. So you see all our initiative counts here now. We got a -5 for Calypso. This is an F. This is an F. I'm not going to put those in. But Jess also got a fail, and we got one successful bear. So see if anyone got beat. Yeah, Orlear got a 16 here, so he beat, and Ponto. So they beat the initiative, so the players will go first. Let's see if any players beat it by 5. Yeah, Tor did. So when I hit sort, it should be Tor should be first, and then another player will be next, and then it goes to enemy player, and the Zephyr initiative all the way down, and then your failures will go last. So you'll notice here, when you auto-rolled, it actually puts a little note over here. It says a critical failure on initiative roll. Creature is considered exposed for the first round of combat. That's a nice little automatic reminder for the DM. And then on a critical success for this bear, on the initiative roll, the creature has advantage on a single check during the first round of combat. So that's nice. One thing here in the notes as well is the DM can just write any notes they want. They can put the hindered condition in here, or just write any notes about any players or creatures that they want. So let's say if I click anywhere on a row, the wolf, all his stats show up here. I'll click on a bear. All his stats show up there. If I click on Praxis, who we all know is the greatest rogue of all time, his information shows up there. So the next thing to do now is you can do 2 things. You can sort initiative, or you can just start combat. So sort initiative will sort all this in the Zephyr initiative. Start combat does the same thing, where sort initiative doesn't start combat though. It just sorts it. So start combat will sort all the players' initiative, and then it'll actually start combat with showing who's first in the initiative order and start the round in the turn order. So I'm going to start with start combat, and it'll do little bit of a sort here. It'll take a couple seconds on my slow Mac. There we go. So we beat the DC initiative by 5, which Tor did. So that means the first 2 highest players go first. And then we go into the Zipper initiative where it's a bear, a player, enemy, player, enemy, player, enemy, player, enemy, player, enemy, player, enemy, player, 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 player. Since there was no more enemies. And then you can see the critical failures were all put last. All right, so now we're in combat. Tor will go first. You roll your dice, you see if you hit. You modify the hit points here of whoever he hits. Let's say you hit this bear and reduced it down to 15. So now you just change that to 15. And he uses up all his action points on that turn. So now his turn is over. We click on next turn. And a few things happen. So it goes down to Ponto is the next turn order. You can see it's turn 2, still in round 1. But if we go back to Kevin and Tor, it reset his action points after his turn is over. So that's pretty helpful when it automatically does that for all the creatures. So the DM doesn't really have to remember to do that. He'll know exactly how many action points he has for all these creatures at all time. So Ponto does his move, changes his hit points, action points, whatever he needs to modify. He can change his stamina points and mana points. He should do that. The player should do that, track this stuff. The DM should really just be tracking and managing the enemies. Yeah, you just run through your turn. And we'll just fast forward through this so I can show you when you go into round 2. And we're back. We're just about to finish the last turn on round 1 with Jess. And now it goes into round 2, turn 1 with Tor. So let's say Tor does his turn and he does a bunch of damage on this bear again. And so this bear now goes down to 0 hit points. Now you can see this bear is crossed out in red lettering. So the DM knows right away that this bear is down. So without having to look at the hit points. So that's kind of a nice quality of life feature. If a player goes down, it's the same thing. Let's say Orlear gets hit. He goes down to 0 hit points, and Orlear will be showing a red crossed out lettering. And that's it about combat. So when you are done your combat... one more thing. Let's say I'm in the middle of combat now, and then a new monster comes in. So let's say another bear comes in. So I go up to... Let's say a wolf. I want to add a wolf. Alright, so this wolf comes in mid-combat. He gets added on. How do we handle this? He doesn't have an initiative roll. He's not in the system. We're already let's say we're already halfway through the turn or round with this bear down here. Let's get off the dead guys. So it says bear's turn when this wolf shows up. Well, you just roll for empty initiatives, which will add 23 on there. And without mucking up the turn order or anything, this is why the sort of initiative button is. You just click that. And that wolf will probably head straight to the top. All right. Where did that wolf go? Okay, so it was 23 here because it jumped into the Zipper initiative, which the bear was next, then a player, and then the wolf. So good, that was entered correctly. So that's how you add new guys. You can also select this wolf and say clear the selected creature, and it just takes it right out of that. Right out of the initiative order, you just delete a creature. So that's it for, I think, the encounter. I think the only other thing here is when you're done, you can do two things. Clear all creatures will clear everything off the initiative and make it blank and clear out the initiative DC, the round, and the turn. Clear enemies and allies will keep all the players in case you want to keep their hit points. You just don't want to re-enter them for the next combat. So, and then it's kind of a handy way to just keep them on the initiative order. So I'll do that. And there we go. We have a list of all our players only. NPCs and enemies are gone. Earlier is down to 0 hit points. Now for the next round of combat that happens, you can just add in your new enemies and they'll just add onto the bottom here. And you can adjust your hit points to whatever they need to be. That's it. So the other thing is clear all creatures. And this is when you're done and you don't want to... There it goes. It clears everything out and you can start from scratch. So that's it about the DC20 encounter builder for DC20 0.8. This is version 1.1. And I'm going to post it to the Perilous Pursuits website today. And there'll be a link to it in this video in the comments where you can download it. Hope you enjoy it. Hope it makes your life as a DM running DC20 easier. Hey, your likes and comments would be great. Right in this video. Really appreciate it. Subscriptions. And if you want to check out our live play campaigns, we've done tons of D&D. We've done Grim Hollow. We've done DC. We're currently doing DC20. We're going to be starting our 4th episode this Monday. And we'll see if Ray wants to use this encounter builder. And maybe he can comment on it, how he likes it in that episode. That would be episode 4 that's coming up. And yeah, check out all our other stuff. Hope you enjoy it. And provide any feedback down in the comments. Take care, thanks. And props to Dungeon Coach and for producing DC20. Congrats on the awesome Kickstarter. I am a Kickstarter supporter. I bought a pledge, and I'm looking forward to playing more betas as they go along and getting the final product when it comes out. Anyway, thanks guys, and get out there and play some DC20.